everybody. We're up here in San Antonio, Texas, outside the Alamo at the Cenotaph for our Save the Cenotaph rally in conjunction with This is Texas Freedom Force and Alamo Defenders Descendants Association.
Thank you.
Pretty good crowd so
just
far.
Just a minute. We're going to try to keep it right at an
There
hour.
was some bagpipes we just had playing.
There'll be some announcements immediately following the ceremony.
We're going to get ready to
Again,
kick
thank
off
you
here
for
in just a
coming
few
out.
minutes.
I know that you came from near and far
to
help us with this pursuit of keeping the tombstone on the symbolic cemetery of the Alamo Defenders. And thank you.
Yes!
Just like that little mighty band so many years ago, we are very diverse, but we've come together for a great cause.
Amen. And
we really appreciate it. And you'll see through this crowd, the garrison reunited. Please remember that your veins flow with the blood of heroes. Thank you for being here, and God bless Texas.
God bless Texas! So good, so
all right, we're going to have
far.
our TITFF Director of Research, Ms. Carrie Hiller, come up. She's going to say the prayer for us to start the rally off.
I hear you, Benjamin. I'm going to try my best to be there.
One second, guys. This is on me. Okay, go ahead.
If you all would join me in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, you have commanded us to honor our fathers and our mothers, and that is the goal of our mission here today, to honor our forefathers who fought and died in this very location. Please grant us the strength for our battle. We humbly pray. Amen.
Amen.
And let's make some noise, people!
There's a cenotaph right there. That's what they're wanting to move.
I got a party. I got a really good picture of it.
Okay, thank you. That's the cenotaph that they're wanting to move. Not one inch.
So while we're waiting for our technology to figure itself out, I just want to thank you all for being here. We really appreciate the support. This is Texas Freedom Force has been here all week long talking to Texans, giving them information, and we've received nothing but positive remarks from all of the people that we've talked to.
Yes, thank you.
So we appreciate you coming out today. I know everybody has a lot of other stuff they can be doing, so thank you so much.
How's it going out there this morning?
All right. A little hot, but we're good.
All right, let me pull up my speech here so I have my notes. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody again for coming out. Can you guys hear me okay in the back there? Okay. All righty, so start off with saying, doesn't it feel good to be a Texan?
Hell yeah!
That's right. For those of y'all that don't know me, my name is
Cindy,
Brandon
do me a
Burkhardt.
favor,
I am the
share this
president of
around
This
to
is
some
Texas
groups.
Freedom Force, a nonprofit organization with the motto of protectors of all things Texas and a mission statement of protecting Texas history. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about what's been going on, as well as talk a little bit about the Cenotaph. Today we stand here before God in Texas to say, not 1 inch.
Not 1 inch.
Don't move the Cenotaph. This is Texas Freedom Force entered this battle to save the Cenotaph in the summer of 2017.
Love you too, sister.
To date, we have held several rallies right here at this very sacred spot. To date, we have also attended every San Antonio City Council meeting since January of this year. We've also attended every Alamo Advisory meeting and Alamo Trust meeting this year as well. We have traveled to over 20 Texas cities and towns, talking to thousands of Texans across the Lone Star State. We have spent countless hours standing right here in the Alamo Plaza, talking to Texans and tourists alike. We have attended the Alamo Road Show that goes around. We have followed them to actually tell Texans the truth about the facts that they're trying to remove the cenotaph. They're trying to move it out of the way. Some of the other the road closures, because if you sit there and rely on their information, oh, it sounds like a glorious plan. But when you get right down to the nitty-gritty of what's going on, it's terrible for Texas. It's terrible for Texas history. We've also attended several of rallies around the state that we have talked to Texans about the Alamo and about the cenotaph and what the city of San Antonio and the GLO want to do with the cenotaph and trying to move it. And so whenever I stand here before you today and tell you that Texans are saying not 1 inch, I can do so because we have listened to the will of the people.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Now, has the San
Thanks,
Antonio
Cindy.
City Council listened to us? Absolutely not. The majority of San Antonio City Council members don't even bother to show up to the Citizens to be Heard meetings. Those that do show up, they end up playing on their phones, or they tell private jokes and laugh amongst themselves when the people of Texas are trying to speak. Only a few have listened to us, like John Courage, who has actually come out and stated publicly that he does not want the cenotaph moved anywhere. He thinks it should stay right where it's at. At the Alamo Plaza meetings, they handpick moderators like Lori Houston that ignore those who are against the Alamo Master Plan. Getting truthful answers out of them is harder than pulling hen's teeth. Then they have the nerve to call us rude because we are forced to insert ourselves into the conversation. You want to know why we're mad? We're mad because every time Texans have packed these meetings and tried to have an honest conversation with them, we get ignored. It's all about their master plan, how great it is, and how much money they can make off of it. Never in 1,000 years did I think we'd have to stand here and fight out-of-state tyrants to protect the Alamo again.
Amen.
But here we all stand.
Amen.
Anytime you bring up the fact that the majority of the board and committee members aren't even from Texas, they say that they give you the same answer. They told Douglas McDonald, the CEO of the Alamo's record, and how he saved the museum up north. That's when I started thinking of a song written by a true Texan, Brian Burns. And he said, and these words ring true, "We don't need your politics, we don't need your prayers. We don't need your moral compass leading us anywhere. We don't need your business, and we don't need your art, and we don't really give a damn what it was you did up north."
Amen.
I'm sorry, but the truth hurts sometimes. But I digress. This beautiful monument here behind me is under threat today. First, they wanted to destroy it. Then they wanted to move it to a quiet, dark corner. And now they want to move it off of the entire Alamo footprint.
No.
That's right, not 1 inch. This monument may not mean much to them because they aren't from around here. But this means everything to Texans.
Yes, it does.
They couldn't possibly understand the overwhelming pride and honor that Texans feel when we walk up and touch this beautiful monument, or when we gaze at the Alamo Chapel, or we think about the fight that our Alamo defenders here fought to give their lives in the name of Texas against unbeatable odds. This monument, erected in memory of the heroes who sacrificed their lives in the Alamo in defense of Texas, they chose never to surrender nor retreat.
Yep.
That's right. These brave hearts, with flags still proudly waving, perished in the flames of immortality that their high sacrifice might lead to the founding of Texas.
Amen.
I know we have all said it, but let's stop and think about that. They gave it all for Texas. These men put out a call for help that never came. The North Wall, which ran through the post office, which is right behind you right here, was one of the major spots of the most fierce battles of the Alamo. When the wall was breached, they fell back into the long barracks, which sits right here, and into this area to continue the fight. So it's only appropriate that the cenotaph sits right here, in the exact center of the Alamo footprint.
Yes.
It would be...
Not 1 inch. Not 1 inch. Not 1 inch. Not 1 inch. Not 1 inch.
It would be inconceivable to move the monument to the unknown soldier. So why do they think they can come into Texas and remove this?
Amen.
Respect and reverence is not on their minds. They only care about the money. To prove that point, we only have to look at the Final Four when it came to San Antonio. Basketball hoops, portable buildings, trash bags that were piled up to the top, media stages, all set up here on the Alamo footprint. But yet they say that the reverence is not being given to this spot, but yet the city wants to put that kind of stuff right here on our Alamo footprint. It's ridiculous. This shows you exactly how a councilman from California, Roberto Trevino, and a mayor from Boston, Nuremberg, view our Alamo, our beloved Alamo. I'll say it again, they only care about the money.
Send them home.
Remove them.
That's right. Guys, I'm going to tell you a real quick story
And
here.
the San Antonio Express.
That's true too. This past week, TITFF has been up here at the plaza every day talking to tourists and Texans alike. I arrived here early one day and there was only a handful of people in the plaza. So I walked over to the cenotaph to pay my respects and say a prayer. The sun had just laid its fingers on the cenotaph and it really seemed like the cenotaph was shining for all of Texas to see. I sat here and I pondered the thoughts and I thought about what the Alamo defenders must be thinking looking down upon us today. Part of me was ashamed that we've allowed an out-of-state force to come in here and try to retell their story and to try to remove their tomb. I wondered if we had done enough. I wondered if we have fought this battle as hard as we should have fought it. That's when my eyes started to sweat a little bit, and I imagined what they must be thinking about us, looking down upon us today, and I felt guilty. That's when later on I carried that thought throughout the entire day that we were out here, and afterwards I spoke to a friend of mine, a fellow Texan, and she told me on the phone, she said, by golly, we're Texans, and we're going to fight this battle to the end.
Damn
Then
right
we're
we
going to roll
are.
around and get bloody and roll around in the mud and fight some more. At that moment, the Texas pride ran all through my body. I couldn't help but think Travis's words, never surrender nor retreat.
Yep.
I knew come hell or high water, we were going to fight this battle and we're going to be victorious in the end.
That's right.
I feel sorry for those outsiders who seek to move the cenotaph because they will never understand that feeling of Texas pride. And they will never understand why we won't give up in this fight.
That's right. They don't understand.
We, like our Gonzales ancestors before us, are lifting that flag up high and looking them square in the eyes and saying, this ground was bought and paid for by the blood of Texans, and we will fight till the bitter end to protect it. Come and take
Hell
it.
yeah, amen.
Let me close by saying this. It's our duty as Texans to fight this battle. No one will fight our battles for us, no one.
I don't
I know this is a
Cindy,
long
maybe.
battle and it's easy to disengage due to the distractions of life. But we must stay engaged and we must press on. There are more Texans engaged in this battle today than when we first stepped in and joined the Alamo Defenders descendants in this battle. This is Texas Freedom Forces proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Alamo Defenders descendants. Lee Spencer White and Maggie Wright, these ladies are honorable Texans and have worked their tail ends off to protect this precious monument. Thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. Our TITFF team, Carrie, Lamar, Crystal, Ramon, Lupe, Paul, Michael, all of y'all and many, many others. Y'all have done a really good job and thank you for your sacrifice and dedication in fighting this battle with us. The Texans, we need your help.
Yeah.
The line in the sand has been drawn again. Not only, it's time Texas start acting like the Alamo Defenders and holding our ground. Not only holding our ground, it's time for Texans to go on the offensive with our rally cry, remember, not reimagine the Alamo.
Remember, not reimagine.
Talk to your friends, family, and neighbors. Get them involved. Call and write letters to Governor Abbott, Ted Cruz, Ken Paxton, Dan Patrick, Brandon Creighton, and others. Even call Mayor Nuremberg and the San Antonio City Council. Let them know where you stand. If they won't listen to us now, they will hear from us come next election.
Yes,
Remove the politicians, not the monuments.
There you go.
Not 1 inch.
they will. Not 1 inch.
Not 1 inch. Not 1 inch.
Not 1 inch. Not 1 inch.
God bless
Not
Texas and
1
thank
inch.
y'all.
Amen.
Thank you, Brandon. And thank you to the Texas Freedom Force. They have stood, as he said, shoulder to shoulder with the Alamo Defender Descendants Association.
Yep.
And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lee Spencer White. I'm the president of the Alamo Defender Descendants. I would like to let you know who we are. We are actually the direct bloodline of the Alamo Defenders. The people who died here, the people in the garrison. Please raise your hands, yell your ancestor's name, all Alamo Defenders out here. Please step forward and come up here. We want to get your picture because a lot of people think, oh, descendants. I thought everyone died in the Alamo, so how can there be descendants? Yes, there are descendants. Some of them were married and had children prior to arriving at the Alamo. And if you don't know anything about our organization, we represent the entire garrison. So not just the men who died here, we also represent the men, women, and children who did not die here. The courageous scouts and messengers that went out with Juan Seguin, we represent them. We represent the women and children inside the Alamo. These people have ancestors that stood shoulder to shoulder on a cold morning in 1836. Our blood mingled on this very ground, and from that moment forward, we were always known as the Alamo family. For generations to come, we will be the Alamo family. We were including the Tejanos who fought with us from the very beginning of our organization. The families have never forgotten. Some historians have forgotten through the time. It's a terrible shame, but we've rectified that. And through us, if you'll look at these faces, you're looking at the Alamo Garrison.
Way to go, guys.
And we have one more descendant down here in the wheelchair. Thank you for attending, sir. And we have an 80-year-old lady right here who's tells me she's never been to a rally, a protest, and she wants to let everyone know that she is appalled and does not want this monument moved. Again, this bloodline was never gathered together until about 22 years ago, and we met inside the chapel, a candlelight ceremony. And when I stood at the podium and looked out, I cried. I thought, this is the first time the garrison has come together since they died, March 6, 1836. It's an important organization to carry on the legacy, but even more important that we have Texans behind us to defend this ground again, because we're calling out too, saying, please come help us. We're calling out to everyone that is within the sound of our voice to come and help us. Call your representatives, call the governor, call whoever you need to call, but let them know you're outraged and you're not going to allow them to move this cenotaph.
That's right. Not 1 inch.
Not 1 inch.
This ground was soaked with our blood. That's why they want to keep it hallowed. We made that hallowed with our blood. We are now being booted out of here. This is our headstone. This is our cemetery. So you're going to tell me that you don't like the view anymore? You're going to tell me that you want to show a lot of other things, that 1836 isn't going to be the highlight? We wouldn't be standing here having this conversation if it hadn't have been for 1836 battle.
That's right. Absolutely.
We're here.
And now they want to forget the Alamo? No. No. The Alamo descendants and every Texan wants you to remember the Alamo and want you to remember the 1836 battle of the Alamo. So please, continue to spread the word. Help us. Don't let this cry fall on deaf ears. As William Barrett Travis once stated in a letter, he said, may posterity do our memories justice.
Yeah.
So I call upon you to come to our aid and go beyond this rally today. Go beyond here and go and do something. Help us. I don't care who you need to call or talk to. Please, please help us. And again, thank you for coming out and supporting us. And we have some other speakers that will be coming forth and giving you a little more information. But I wanted you to know who this organization was and is. And we want to tell you a little bit about this particular monument, which is a cenotaph, which means empty tomb. And as Brandon was saying, you wouldn't move the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier to repair it. They didn't. It's been repaired 3 times. The Washington Monument, they didn't remove it. You repair it on site. And by the way, any of you that don't know, get on my Facebook and look. The interior of this monument is built out of 1930s concrete, and that gets harder with time. Just like us, we don't give up. There's nothing wrong with this monument other than superficial. And even if it is, repair it on site. Repair it here.
Yes.
Don't give lame excuses of why you want to move it. Don't insult our intelligence by saying, oh, it's in disrepair, we need to move it 500 feet. Yeah, outside the fort. We died defending inside the fort. Don't insult us. Don't insult us by moving us outside the fort. That's right. Not 1 inch, not 1 inch, not 1 inch, not 1 inch.
Not 1 inch.
Very good. And again, thank you for coming, and we want to continue with this rally. But I wanted everyone to see the faces of the Alamo descendants themselves, that we are alive and well. Thank you. Maggie and Ray.
There you go, Maggie.
Maggie and Ray want to fill you in on another topic. Yeah, sure. I'll hand you the microphone.
Go ahead. All right. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Ray Myers.
Way to go, Ray.
Some of you, it's amazing how word gets out and the communication goes nowadays. People come up and say, I know you're on Facebook. I know you're on Facebook. Well, thank God for Facebook in that way, because we do have to get our word out. I am Ray Myers, and I'm the chair of the Kaufman County Tea Party up in North Texas. And I was also the chair of the State Affairs Committee with the Republican Party of Texas. And we had the opportunity to go through and do a platform plank for the Alamo. But before I get into that, I do have a couple of introductions I want to make. From all over the state of Texas, there are mayors. There's a mayor right here in San Antonio, and he's not here. Okay?
Yeah.
We got Mayor Jim Pruitt from Rockwall, Texas, right here. He's the only mayor that I know that has actually came to come and talk to us and actually get behind this particular issue. Thank you, Jim, for being here. We also have Alma Perez Jackson here, who is the vice chair of the Republican Party of Texas. She's right there. Right there. You bet you. Thank you, Vice Chair Alma Perez, for being here. We need to be involved everywhere, and thank you guys for being here. Can you believe that we're actually standing here in Texas trying to defend our Alamo and our Alamo Cenotaph?
Hard to believe.
That should be a no-brainer, huh?
Yep.
My God. It's unbelievable that we're having to do this. But guess what? It's not just going on here in San Antonio. It's going on all over the United States. And we have to stand together and fight. It's time for us to fight and really get involved. Now, I want you to know something. We've been involved with politicians and state senators, state representatives in Texas all around. And I want to just call a couple of names out of those who have actually got in the fight to help. Bob Hall up in North Texas. Yes, Senator Bob Hall. Dawn Buckingham, she's involved in the fight. Senator Jane Nelson is involved in the fight. Dan Patrick, our Lieutenant Governor's in the fight. And also Brandon Creighton, who did the Sacred Memorial bill to protect our sacred memorial grounds, is in the fight.
Amen,
thank God
Brandon.
for those people. And there's more, and we're organizing right now all over the state to get our state representatives, because what we want to do, we want to stall anything the city of San Antonio does. We want the state legislature to have this. We want it back in their hands. We want the Texas Parks and Wildlife, the Historical Commission, and those people involved, not the city of San Antonio.
Amen.
We have got to, here's your byline. We have got to divorce the Alamo from the city of San Antonio, okay? All right. Now, of near 6,000 planks, 6,000, not 6,000 planks, but 6,000 delegates at the Republican Party convention held right here in San Antonio just a month or two back. 6,000. I was the chair of the State Affairs Committee. My number one plank out of hundreds in my committee was the first one was the Alamo.
Thank you.
The very first one. It was plank number 296. Whenever the end of the convention it was over, we had 5,650 delegates vote to not move this, not 1 inch. Not 1 inch. Only 391 said, we don't know. Well, by golly, this is Texas,
Thank
and
you
they
for
need
sharing,
to know.
guys.
All right, here's the plank right here, number 296. We believe the Alamo should be remembered and not imagined.
Amen.
We believe Texas's authority regarding the Alamo shall not be infringed upon by any organization or authority, including to, but not limited to, local governments, the federal government, the United Nations, or UNESCO. United Nations? Come on. We demand that the decision-making authority for the Alamo never be removed from Texas, and the custodians of the Alamo be required to affirm and emphasize the intrinsic significance of the 1836 battle in telling the story of the Alamo. Number two, to maintain transparency in finances, which they have not done.
Amen.
Okay? And operations of the Alamo. Specific protection shall be afforded the site, including in all land existing monuments, including the cenotaph, not to be moved 1 inch.
Not 1 inch.
Thank you so much for being here. Here's Maggie Wright, who is a trooper, statewide, a patriot. We all love her. I guarantee you she goes everywhere. She got 4 o'clock this morning. You got up to get here. Anyway, Maggie Wright.
Thank y'all for all coming. I answered Travis's his call whenever I heard Lee Spencer White say, you know, they moved the Confederate soldier in Travis Park, and the cenotaph was going to be next. That was in September. So in October I was here, and we had a roundtable discussion also with George P. Bush, but he didn't listen to us. And Ted Cruz has been busy to get another one since April. We got it all set. We thought it was ready to go July the 6th, and on the 9th, his scheduler said, we're pulling Commissioner Bush. He didn't have the courage to meet with 6 of his constituents in Texas with Ted Cruz there. And so on the 9th, they told us that they would send Brian Preston. We said we canceled it on the Tuesday because it wasn't worth spending Ted Cruz's time or our time with Brian Preston. We have heard his propaganda of what they're doing. We don't like it. And we heard that we've been told lies all the way since June of 2017. They told us that it had not been decided about moving the cenotaph, but we had it unveiled in June. They are moving it. It was never one of the options to have it standing where it is.
That's right.
We are going to stand, and we are asking all you Texans, stand with the Alamo defenders. We're all tired, but don't give up.
Don't
Call
give up.
Representatives. Tell them we
That's
are
right.
not going
Make
to
the
stand
noise,
for
people.
it. Stand for our defenders now.
Now and always.
Thank you, Miss Maggie.
And we will be back if need be.
Hours.
Next, we're going to have Representative Kyle Biederman.
There you go, Kyle.
Kyle?
He's here.
Okay. Introduce yourself. yourself, Kyle. Now, this is a modern-day Alamo hero right here. Thank you for defending us in Austin.
You're welcome. Well, I'm Kyle Biederman, State Representative for District 73, which is Fredericksburg, where I live, Bernie, and New Braunfels. But I'm the State Representative for the state of Texas. You all are here because we care and we love Texas. And this shrine right here is the reason that we have independence, that we have the state of Texas, that we are the greatest state in this nation. And we're going to keep it that way. But we need everybody, as you are, to continue to stand for Texas. And I'm telling you that I'm standing for Texas. We're writing letters right now. We're getting other legislators together so that we can put pressure on the GLO and George B. Bush to be able to keep the cenotaph right here where it belongs, where it's been for the last 80 years, where the men died and where they fell, and where we need to protect this shrine for Texas. And I can tell you, when you go to the Capitol, you walk in anybody's office, any legislator's office in the state of Texas, you go in their office and they've got something about the Alamo. Because that's where we were founded, and that's why we're there at the legislature, and we have got to stand up as a legislature. Pray for us. Remember, it's a spiritual battle. Pray. Pray for these guys and these women in the legislature to have the courage, like these men did here at the Alamo, to stand for the Alamo and for the cenotaph.
And do what they're paid, what we put them there to do, my God.
Hallelujah. God bless you all. Thank you for all you're doing. And just know you're not alone. So, God bless. And God bless Texas.
Thank you.
And Dr. Arredondo. Now, this is truly a heroic Texan. Listen to her words.
She is awesome.
Good morning, buenos dias. When they asked for all the descendants to come and stand right here, I said, okay. When I get up there, I'm going to say, all those that fought in the Alamo against Texas, take a stand. And I'll stand here alone, but I know there's a lot of them out there that fought on the other side. They asked me to speak here, and I'm very, very proud. I was one of the 6 that was going to go up to Austin yesterday and meet with Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz, and Preston, but it was canceled. It's really a sad thing because most people only remember the second battle. And the second battle. But there was a first battle that brought about the second battle. The first battle, we had General Joaquin Arredondo and General Cos. I have to say this so you can understand where I'm coming from. Joaquin Arredondo, after they were defeated on the first battle, headed back to Mexico. Well, he came back with Santa Ana, but General Arredondo settled in Cerralbo, Nuevo León. My ancestors on my father's side come from Cerralbo, Nuevo León. And if you know us Tejanos, we like to multiply, so I know there are direct descendants of those that fought against Texas. You can't find any records because during the Mexican Revolution of 1910, most of your churches and your little villitas or city halls were destroyed. So a lot of these records were destroyed. So you might not find anything on the Arredondos there. But I'm here to defend the cenotaph. Ladies, or patrons I should say, I want you to reimagine me. Just close your eyes and imagine that I am tall, blonde, and blue-eyed.
All right.
Can you remember that? No, you're not going to remember. You're going to remember a short, feisty Tejana. That will never work with the cenotaph. You cannot reimagine the cenotaph. Just like guns were the holy grail for Texas, Texas is the holy grail to the United States. It couldn't have been done. It couldn't have been done if that blood was not shed here.
Amen.
I have driven around Texas, patriots, and I see, how many of you have seen little crosses alongside the road? Many of you. I guarantee you that body is not there, but it represents somebody's spirit that was given when they died there. And it's a memorial to them. I guarantee you that if you go and try to pick up all those little crosses all over the state of Texas, guess what happens to you? those people are going to come after you. Right? Well, what is this? Isn't this our cross? We should stand up. And I'm kind of disappointed that we don't have more people. And I appreciate those of you that sacrificed your day today when you could be out there in the swimming pool or working on the ranch like myself, that are not here, but many of us are their voices. I want to ask you this. I want to say this. Nagadang umaga. Kumusta? 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 You know what that means? None of you know what that means. That means, good morning, how are you? You know why that didn't mean anything to you? Because there's no roots. Mayor Nuremberg is Filipino. He would have understood. Nagadang umaga. Lalaki, kumusta? It doesn't mean anything to us. This means something to us.
Yes, it
Mayor
does.
Nuremberg's relatives, ancestors did not shed their blood on this holy land right here. We have two that I know of, and I did some research. When I researched Nuremberg, you
I
could
see
find
that. I, for one, am
his
ready.
birth location. It just said that he was, I'm sorry? California. Somebody said Boston. See, we don't even know where his birthplace is. And so then, and Trevino comes from McAllen, Texas. They don't have any roots in this area. I come from Starr County. My relatives, my ancestors come from way down there, but they feel the same way. I should say they think and believe and feel the same way I do. We believe in the cenotaph. For them to tell us that in order for us to foster understanding and healing from what, fellow patriots?
Exactly.
Healing from what? I believe that they want to foster healing the hatred they have, because this represents, whether you like it or not, white privilege. You know what? This is a historical monument that brought about the history, the blood of the people that died here to bring us where we are today. Texas has the 10th largest economy in the world. If it weren't for the Alamo and those that shed their blood, Texas would not exist.
Amen.
Mexico would be here, and we would be out here fighting the Zetas.
Amen.
Don't you all agree?
Oh, 100%. Amen.
But hope is not all lost. We also, other than our elected congressmen and senators that were mentioned this morning and the gentleman that spoke this morning, we have two more that are out there that have shown an interest, and they will be introducing a bill in our House. Their names are Pat Fallon and Briscoe Kane. They have expressed that they're going to help. So you all need to get out there and call them and ask them for their support. Now, when Santa Ana was fighting, or he was camped out there, and he was looking at the Alamo and looking at the walls, do you think he had a kind heart? Do you think he said to his generals, let's go and foster a kinder relationship? Well, guess what?
Trying to get Mr.
After the
Briscoe's
battle was
attention
over,
there, but he's not
and he
seeing
piled all
anyway.
those bodies, all those headless bodies, I might say, and burned them, where do you think those ashes went? It went all over the place. So this whole place, to me, is sacred and holy.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think that we need to reimagine. I think we need to remember this place. And
Remember.
it's everyone's responsibility. And I think that those of us that our roots run deep means a lot more. But I think that the people that are moving into Texas need to realize why the cenotaph and the Alamo are very, very sacred to us. Even though we fought on the other side, I hate the idea of what Texas and the Alamo would be right now. I was given a paper today, and they want me to say this in Spanish because a lot of Tejanos don't understand English and don't comprehend what is happening here. It says, no remuevan el cenotafio. ¿Qué es el cenotafio? Es un monumento a alguien enterrado en otro lugar, especialmente uno que conmemora a las personas que murieron en esta guerra. ¿Y por qué la ciudad de San Antonio y el Alamo quieren removerlo? Why does the city of San Antonio and the Alamo Trust want to move it? Quieren usar el espacio, el Alamo Plaza, para otro propósito. Han declarado que está usurpando el espacio.
They want to use this space, Alamo Plaza, for another proposal. They have declared that this space is absurding. It's not useful for what they need it for. ¿Por qué los ciudadanos no quieren que se mueva? Why do the citizens and the fellow patriots don't want this to be moved? El monumento está construido por el estado de Texas hace más de 80 años durante el 100º aniversario de la Revolución de Texas. It was built by patriots over 80 years ago during its 100th anniversary of the Texas Revolution at the Battle of the Alamo. It's a little long and it's getting a little warm up here, but I don't have any other stories to tell you other than, even though I'm a Tejana, 6 generations, it means a lot to me, and I wish it would mean a lot to you too, to be able to come here and stand before them. They don't exude. Our council people, with the exception of those 2, they do not exude patriotism. Their heart is not with Texas.
No,
they exude money, profit, to line their pockets. Just follow the money and you will see the truth. I thank you all. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here to speak to you, and God bless you. And
thank you.
Remember the Alamo. Do not reimagine. Do not reimagine. Remember.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I wanted to tell you a little story about some of the people in the garrison that seems to slip through the cracks of history and history books. Yes, we know they came from all over the world. We know that there were doctors, lawyers, painters, former soldiers from many, many countries here. And so we hear about those men. And there were valiant one and all. Most of them had grandfathers who actually fought in the American Revolution. So to them, the Texas Revolution was no different than the American Revolution. Check it out. They were right. But I want to go one step more. Many of the local Tejanos brought their wives and children into the Alamo. You have one, Amaran Dickinson, that brought his wife and baby into the Alamo. So we have women and children here. And guess what else we have here? We have a love story in the middle of this horrible battle. There was a gentleman named Herndon that ran off with a black slave. They fell in love. They came to Texas. Guess where they landed? About right here where this cenotaph sits. They were manning a cannon here. And of all places to end your love story would be in the middle of a battle. But you know how she died? She died helping him because there were not enough men to man a cannon. It takes a minimum of 2 people to man one cannon. Joe, Travis's manservant slave, says, there was a black woman lying dead between 2 cannons in the middle of the plaza. If not under this cenotaph, very close to this cenotaph. So not only do you have a female Alamo defender who died on this ground, but you have a black Alamo defender female who died on this spot. So don't listen to people that want to turn this into a racist issue. It's not a racist issue. But what we do have is we have a small band of patriots that died for what they believed in, and that's what we're supposed to be supporting. They died here for what? For us. We stand on their shoulders. I don't care where you're from, if you're an 8th generation Texan or you arrived from Cincinnati last week. You stand on their shoulders. This economy was built on their shoulders. If there had not been an Alamo, there wouldn't have been a San Jacinto, and we wouldn't have gone any further. We owe them everything. And if we can't give them one headstone on the ground they died on, shame on us. Shame on Texas. We need to fight and fight to the death just like they did, because we're fighting for this ground just like they did. We're just the modern day defenders.
Yes, we are.
Please tell your family, your friends, we've been pleading with everyone, and pray. Pray for us. Pray that we have the strength to continue, because I guarantee you we'll fight till there's no breath left.
Amen. Amen.
I want to end with a poem that landed in my hands yesterday. It shows that God is great. there's a gentleman named John Dalton who put a poem on the internet yesterday, and I want to close with this poem because I think it says it all, and I hope that I do the poem justice. There are no crosses row on row that mark their passing into glory. Santa Ana roared, pile their bodies up and burn them. Black smoke boiling in the winter sky, the stench. Almost 1 year later, Seguin returned with orders, locate and intern the bodies of the defenders of the Alamo. With heavy heart, he did his duty. 3 great funeral pyres whose ashes, bits, and bones he buried. No gravestone marked their passing. They were just the unknown dead and nothing more. 100 years would pass. The state of Texas, that owed its very life to these brave men, they remembered a cenotaph, an empty grave to mark the deaths of these immortals, the only gravestone for these valiant. Today, almost 80 years on, move it! It obscures the view. It does not fit our narrative. 10,000 years of history, the battle was but 13 days. We have a place outside the fortress. We have a place outside the fortress walls. Relocate. No, it doesn't matter what these men did or that Texas owes them her very life. Their death and memorial are an inconvenient truth. Yet, these men laid down their lives to buy time. A few days. Gather troops and train. Flee to the east. Pick our ground. Attack. Vanquish. All because these men fought 13 precious days and laid down their lives. These volunteers, they sacrificed themselves that Texas might live. Texas lives today because of what? 13 days. Remember the Alamo. Remember the Alamo. Remember the Alamo. Those words should ring until Gabriel blows his horn. Remember the Alamo.
Amen.
God bless you and God bless Texas. And Mr. Sutherland.
Y'all can see that where it says right there.
Secondly, we'd like to get everybody here up to
If y'all have never been here, I urge you to come out here. This is my first trip here. After all these years of being in Texas, born, raised here, and it's an awesome feeling. It's an awesome, humble feeling, knowing that the reason Texas is because these men that you see their names all along the sides of this cenotaph stood for 13 long days, alone, and fought. Texas wouldn't be Texas if they hadn't have done that. And anybody with some common sense knows that, and why they want to move it is beyond me. But I tell you what, this is my first trip down here. They come to move it, I will definitely be back. No question about it. I will be back. Not 1 inch. It's awing to stand here and look at it and reach up and touch it, and they want to move it. Yeah, I'm impassioned about this. It's just like I'm impassioned about other things that I fully stand for. This right here will be a trip back. They go to move it. They bring cranes, whatever they're going to bring in to do it, we're going to be here. And I guarantee you. And in that, they say that is blocking the view of the barracks along the wall of the Alamo back here. Let's come over here where you can see. And I would hope, as some of the speakers up there had said, if it comes down to it, I would hope many a Texans show up out here and take a stand, just like our forefathers did. They're our forefathers. And had it not been for them, we wouldn't be here. We'd be under Mexico rule. No doubt about it. No doubt. There's the Alamo. And there's the chapel and along the wall. And there's where the cenotaph sits. How does she block the view? That is a remembrance. Our Texas forefathers they're spirits. They're there. I don't care what anybody says. They're there. You can walk up to it and get up beside it and touch it, and you can feel them there. You can literally feel them there. Not 1 inch. And I, for one, I mean what I say. They go to move it, I'll be back. And I would hope many of y'all would come back too. Not 1 inch. I honestly didn't think that it would kind of move me like it has moved me. But being here, touching this, seeing it, feeling them, it's touching. Believe it or not, it's touching. It's not just marble and granite. By no means is it just marble and granite. It's so much more to it. So much more to it. Let me see if I can move around here and get a good view of the front of her there. The lady, I believe they call her the Lady of Liberty. Let's see.
They're both with my son. Yes, and the man.
That's the shields.
Right, Lady the Teal.
We got the shield.
My father-in-law is over there yelling at him already. He's been arguing with him.
This side over here is the shield of Texas. I don't know if y'all can see that clear enough. The lighting and what have you. But this lady
About us and our composure.
this is what it's all about here. Why in the hell would they want to move it? Census. It's crazy. Crazy. I don't know where he went, but I seen Mr. Briscoe out here. I don't know where he went.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I got Debbie with us. We'll see what she thinks.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to go here where my brothers are.
Shake your hand.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I'm from a neighboring county, Wood County.
Oh, good. You betcha. Thank you for being here.
3 o'clock this morning I've been on the road.
Oh, Lord. That's a mess.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I don't know where Mr. Briscoe went. Susan Danzler is here somewhere, too.
They're probably people that are part of the Alamo Advisory. There was that old guy, remember, he said he was an industry.
What's your name, ma'am?
He's wearing an SRT shirt.
Sherry. I know I've seen you at a lot of these things because.
Do you follow Open Texas?
Oh yeah. I know CJ, and
Yeah.
I know I've seen you at a bunch of these different things.
Yes.
Where are you from?
Up by Lake Fort. Little pissant town called Quitman.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just like to make contact with people I see quite a bit. I know you're always carrying, so am I. So,
I donned my buoy today for the special.
I'm more with Texas. This is Texas Freedom Force. That's my home base. But anyway, I'm real good friends with Doc Green.
Yes, sir.
He has me on his show once in a while.
Yes, sir. I've been on there.
Anyway, I just wanted to meet you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming out. I have no clue where Susan Danzler is or where Mr. Briscoe got off to. Not a clue. Milling around out here.
You were to call people written and everything, but you can't man up and say what chapter you're with? No, I'm just curious to see what chapter you're represented in.
Now you know.
Now we know.
Which is, it's going to be
Just like the men that make decisions.
Unfortunately, the gentleman just disillusioned that they would actually put it back up.
If you side with men like Trevino and Nuremberg that have a history of removing monuments, then yeah, you're disillusioned.
Restore it where it's at. There's no need to move it.
No, he don't believe there's any reverence to it either. But regardless if there is or there isn't reverence, if there is nobody buried there, and the biggest fighting didn't happen here, and all what he's saying is true, it doesn't matter.
You know what?
It doesn't matter.
This is my first trip here. All my years, raised here. It's my first trip here. I don't see how anybody, especially someone like him with the holding signs, can walk
They don't have a
around.
strong argument.
Can walk around that cenotaph and not feel the presence
Regardless
of those
of whether
men
there
there.
is or isn't.
Oh,
Let's say,
there is.
regardless. Let's put that. I'm not disagreeing. Believe me, I'm not with these guys. Believe me.
Good.
I just had to ask why, because there's just a real curiosity. They're older gentlemen, they definitely look like they're speaking like they're from Texas. You know, they got see, I'm a New Yorker, so y'all, that doesn't work. You know,
in as much as it was open land, it was on an esplanade.
Here it is.
What's you know, he says he's some kind of seventh generation. He's got to have a business connection that he's going to benefit from.
You know it.
I don't know.
You know it. You know.
Oh yeah, I know.
Hands getting greased somewhere.
Yeah, and you know, he wants his face on the front pages, so he says, oh, he was on our side, let's give him this.
Hey, I want to thank you. I love hearing you speak. I loved hearing you in Austin Tuesday.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I loved hearing you here.
And you know what? That guy from El Paso was not a member of the... thank you. He was not a member of that Senate. I looked him up. I did all my research. But I didn't want to get into a fighting match.
They don't have the money.
Because I had 2 minutes.
And not for nothing, the gazebo they want to tear down. It's as old as the Cenotaph.
I know it's not political. No, it's not political. This doesn't have anything to do with politics.
Baloney. Baloney.
All I ask them, they have skin in the game. What are they opening up? They're going to open up something that's going to make some money? You part of the Mingo Hotel?
Palms are getting greased. Palms are going to be greased somewhere.
Skin in the game somewhere.
A bunch of baloney. It ain't about politics.
It's all about politics.
I got to get y'all. Let's see what you got there. Love it. Man, I love it.
You do any of you speaking inside? No. You're not one of the guys that dress up and talk about the Alamo?
No, I didn't.
Should.
I don't take the responsibility.
Thank y'all for being here.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. It's a must. I heard the call.
I'm afraid it's going to be a must to come back, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to keep being a turnout. Because it's a First Amendment issue now.
They may not like it when we come back.
Hey, agreed.
And once you start breaking this,
I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Is that Miss Susan over there? Finally.
Hey, I looked all over for you.
I was over there on the...
standing right back here.
I was over on the side over there trying to...
Yeah, well,
everybody as good as I could. Mr. Briscoe was here somewhere. I hadn't got a chance to run into him. I seen him across the way over there.
He's on a straw hat. There he is. We'll say hi.
There's Miss Susan.
Hey there. I remember you.
How you doing? It's Jesse Lucas. I'm her husband. Good.
Let's get that hat. I gotta say hey. You know?
Well, hello. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I seen you across the way over here. I was on the other side over there. I've been looking.
Good showing.
Sir?
Good showing for a hot Saturday.
You know what? I'm pleased with this. I mean, of course we'd like it to have been bigger, but it's a good turnout.
Yeah, it's big enough to be noticed.
Good turnout. Thank you. I've been on the road since 3 o'clock this morning. It's worth it.
Yeah, I am too.
It's worth it.
Great turnout.
You have a good rest of the day, Mr. Briscoe. Okay. Folks. Milling around. I don't know.
I kind of feel like it did.
It may have. It may have.
Are you going to go to Brady's? Huh? You going to go to Brady's barbecue or you going to go home?
I may if I can follow somebody, so I don't know where it's at.
Did you download that Waze thing?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, I'm going to, what do you just use, Google Maps? One more. In case we're separated, which may not happen, but with light traffic, I'm going to go ahead and send you the address. But yeah, I've got it in here. Let that go. I wanted to get some of these people dressed in period.
I know, aren't they awesome? There's one of them right there. The other one, I don't think he's too far away.
There's a good one over there. That's CJ's dad, I think. You met CJ's dad?
Yeah, I met him at Almost. No, I don't think it is. I was hoping we might see him out here today. Yeah, hey, Cindy, you see these guys here with their little signs? They're claiming it's not political.
Did they pull a permit for this?
There is
I don't know.
permits. They say that's why we can't make this guy with the sign for the cenotaph. Right, they can't make it.
Can't make it move. Okay, that's why I was asking. Because I was fixing to make this his job.
That's why he's there to hand it out.
I mean, you're talking about safety ground, all this sort of thing, and you would put a high-rise hotel, what is it, Hard Rock, yeah.
They're not way too